Tina Fey admitted I was a diversity hire. There's your headline. Okay, let that marinate, if you will. During an interview with GQ, actor Donald Glover shared about his time working as a staff writer on 30 Rock with Tina Fey and some of the problematic conversations that occurred. Glover would say, "There's no animosity between us or anything like that, but Tina Fey said it herself. It was a diversity thing," said Glover. From a 2018 New Yorker profile of Glover, he noted that his own skin color had surely influenced his career, beginning with his first job as a writer on 30 Rock. "I wondered, am I being hired just because I'm Black?" Tina Fey, the show's creator and star, told me that the answer was in large part yes. She admired Glover's talent, but hired him because funds from NBC's diversity initiative made him free. A free hire. Fey's account of Glover, in Fey's 2011 memoir, Bossy Pants, she wrote, "Donald was our only African-American writer at the time, but his real diversity was that he was our only cool young person who could tell us what kids were listening to these days." Determining Glover's real diversity and concluding it wasn't his Blackness is so Fey. But the point is that this conversation that's now happening has been happening. Regarding Fey's admiration of Glover's youth, she wrote his Time 100 blurb in which she said, "Now Donald is serving you best case scenario millennial realness." Problematic writing of 30 Rock. 30 Rock's most troubling riffs on race involve Jane Krakowski's character, Jenna. In the first, she wears blackface during an argument with Tracy Morgan's Tracy Jordan about whether white women have it harder than Black men. Tracy, in turn, wore white makeup, a wig, and a Jenna-esque outfit. In one, John Hamm's face is darkened during a riff on the racism of Amos and Andy. In another, his hand is replaced with that of an executed Black prisoner. Even while they were conceiving these episodes, Fey and her collaborators obviously knew that blackface jokes could be problematic. And one behind-the-scenes clip from the 30 Rock DVD set, the show's creator holds up a photo of Jenna in blackface and notes that the character has twice worn race-changing makeup. Fey adds that this is, quote, "not great." The show's few Black crew members also questioned the show's judgment the first time the show did blackface. 30 Rock prop master Kevin Ladson told me, "That didn't bother me because I understood the comedy behind that. It was clear that Jenna was an idiot and that the device was being used to make a larger point about people of color and women being pitted against one another. When Jenna wore blackface again, though there was no bigger issue being satirized." Okay. "I came down and I saw Jenna and that really hurt," Ladson said. "And I said, I really want you to know how this gets a pass." But with everyone else on set laughing, Ladson didn't feel like he had anyone to share his pain with. Is Donald Glover from these readings, these excerpts, a gift? Someone to be treasured for their talent? Or somebody we had to have on the set and maybe helped us a little bit? It's very murky. It's very murky, Yasmin.
Well, okay, so I have watched 30 Rock and, a lot of Tina Fey's work and things like that. And obviously, Donald Glover is a very talented individual. I think it'd be very hard for somebody to deny that. But I had to think about this for a minute, right? There's a lot going on here, right? I don't think Donald Glover is mad about the way he was hired. And I don't think Tina Fey was mad about hiring him, right? If anything, this is kind of the exact reason why we have diversity hiring practices in place. Because now we do have Donald Glover, who has gone on to have a very successful career, not necessarily because he got a leg up, but because he earned it, right? He's proven himself to be immensely talented time and time again. And now I don't know if somebody less diverse and more talented was perhaps passed over for the job so that Donald Glover could have it. But I don't think Tina Fey would have hired him if she didn't actually want him there. Right. She was the head writer at SNL, and 30 Rock was her show. And it was her being the head writer on an SNL-like show. She knows what it takes to put together and lead a team of writers, and she knew what she was looking for. And I don't think she was going to take any chances with 30 Rock.
I think you're exactly right. She's a very important person at NBC, and if she didn't want him there, he wouldn't have been there, period.
Yeah.
Probably if she wanted more money for another hire, she would have gotten that too. I don't know if this is the right thing to say, but I prefer people who tell me the truth. He asked if he was a diversity hire or whatever the question was. She said, yeah, this is what went down here. And I think that you're exactly right about Donald Glover, who's somewhat unbothered by this and who now has hired a ex-president's daughter to work at his company. Maybe Malia Obama is the best ever who's developing this thing. Or maybe she's good enough and qualified and has a pedigree, and he gave her a chance because she's an ex-president's daughter. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I know Tina Fey gets some flack for the things that she has said and the things that she's written on occasion, but overall, I don't think that she's not an ally, or I don't think she has bad intentions whenever she does things like that. And the instance with the blackface on 30 Rock, the first time it happened, I don't actually remember the second time, but I do remember the first time. And it was within context, and it was making a bigger point. And the character, Jenna, she is very that, to not think about those consequences. And I think it's still important to have those kind of conversations conveyed through art, right? Through media and entertainment, because people look at it and those examples stick in people's minds better than like reading an article or something about like why blackface is bad. It helps people to see things play out sometimes. And I'm not making an argument pro blackface, just for the record, but I'm saying that we can and should, and we do, I think, overall learn from these things. Tina Fey even said herself, it wasn't great that we did all that. So I think overall we should, whenever we're judging art, we should be a little bit considerate of the context also.
I think you're right. And art helps a lot of people learn who weren't looking to learn. Okay, they just liked the show and they got hit with that. So there you have it.